and we're back. So, thanks for that. Just bear with me one moment, guys. Blinded by the light. It's a little tricky, I think, especially with allied races. The hostile Draenei faction, the ones that side with Kil'jaeden. Yeah, the Sargerai. Yeah, the Sargerai is who you're referring to there. And the Sargerai, yeah, they were the ones who sided alongside Kil'jaeden the Deceiver. They became the Man'ari. I know I've just fought her, but she was going to attack me. They could be Horde, yeah, the Sargerai, yeah, the Man'ari. That would be interesting. But because they, of course, are fellow lines, that would make sense. And I think that, I think that'd be cool, yeah. The Man'ari, yeah, because, I mean, well, it depends what's going on in the greater cosmos, doesn't it? Because, I mean, if the Man'ari, for example, wish to align with our mortal factions, in which they might not, to be fair, they might care very little for the plight of us now that Sargeras is in detention. Now that Sargeras has been firmly put on the naughty step by Illidan, it might be a little weird. But I think we haven't seen the last of Sargeras either. I don't think we've seen the last of Sargeras and Illidan. I mean, they've left that open-ended. I suppose in the same way, Vrykul. Now, would the Vrykul side with the Alliance? Or would they side with the Horde? Would they respect the humans? Or would they respect the honour of the Orcs more? That's a good question too. Personally, the Vrykul, I think that they would belong better on the Alliance, but I think that the Vrykul would make a more interesting addition to the Horde. So what else have we got here? Yeah, the Vrykul are kind of like, yeah. The Vrykul are difficult because they... I mean, they have a culture all on their own. They are literally Vikings, but, you know, beside the point. They're basically just giant Vikings. Now, whether or not functionally you could give them their own faction, I think you run the risk if you add another faction to the game of upsetting the balance. It's getting a little rum. Rummy rum rum. But it's a case of I think that realistically Blizzard will make the right decision in terms of factions. They will know from where they want the lore to go, so they'll go, right, so what we're planning with this, for example, so they knew that so with the Lightforge, they're like, well, we got this faction of basically Super Draenei, Super Saiyan Draenei, that are going to be on Argus, who were the ones who didn't follow Velen. They're the ones who carried on fighting against the Legion directly rather than kind of going to regroup. And they know that. So they were like, well, that's a good point. And so they decided, well, we can make those into a race. Because they do. And they go, well, couldn't they have just been customization options for their Draenei? No, I don't think so. I consider them a different race. They are, just like the Man'ari are different from the Eridar, and like the Draenei are different from the Man'ari. Functionally, they're the same base race, but they're all changed in some way. So the Man'ari are fell corrupted Eridar. The Draenei are Eridar that follow the light, and the Lightforged are Draenei that follow the light and have been changed by the Naru. They have been remade in the image of the light. So I think that it's like Void Elves. people dislike the idea of void elves, and I think they're actually interesting because they present a question of, well, they're technically just blood elves who dabbled in void magic, but then that also means that their kin rejected them. And I find that ironic, again. So, the blood elves who had for years dabbled in fell magics and summoning demons suddenly drew the line at void. Which I thought was a little strange. It's like, you guys were basically just fell crackheads at one point. What makes you superior to people who've gone with purple magic instead? I suppose one's a bit more potent and a bit more dangerous, theoretically. Destroy the cursed effigy.
Fool! You will die screaming! All of Kultiris will suffer. You are only the first.
Okay.
Glory
I need to target something first.
come.
I think it's an interesting debate to have anyway. Yeah, we unfroze everybody. Did no one else just...
What is going on?
Yeah.
Don't get many travelers here.
Hello, traveller. Get off my land. I used to work with somebody who sounds
What
just
brings
like
you
that.
to Fallhaven? I must have you to thank.
Level up.
I never thought I would awake from that accursed state. Fallhaven is in your debt, stranger. Please, tell us how we can repay you.
How about a big bag of money and also a free level boost? Please. Okay, yeah, so we unlock the quests here. Cool. Let's just see.
Finest wares in Kultiris right here. Travel safely.
Hello, Elijah. You sell sausages. So, Oath Seeker. Yeah, because I haven't got a shield yet, so I actually still have... I still have that equipped. These are mail shells. I can probably auction house those. Let's sell all my crap. I wonder what the hell that noise was, and I was like, oh yeah, it's that old beer bottle. Yeah, let's get rid of all this armor. We don't need any of this. I'm surprised none of my kids have woke up yet. They usually wake up at the second there's a noise. I've got two daughters. One of whom
Appreciate your
is still
patronage,
awake, which is why I'm streaming tonight rather than just going straight to bed because I'm working from home with her. Okay, hello, Death Knight. With it's Paul Phoenix.
So, fancy some bits and bobs?
I like the fact he's just sat chilling in here. He has the Paul Phoenix from Street Fighter haircut.
You mind your business, and I'll mind mine.
I love how abrasive some of these people are. Graphic designer.
Mainlander, eh?
Yeah, so I'm a freelance. I mean, I have a day job, but my old day job used to be a graphic designer, and so I'm still a freelance graphic designer. So all the assets you see on my screen here, I've done all these. So all of my overlays, I designed those. My logo was designed by me. I am by trade a graphic designer. That's what I trained to do. I am very much of the belief that, yeah, I have a day job. I work for people who need help with pensions as my day job, but my actual calling in life is graphic design and gaming. But you know, Rindlewoe, isn't that the really big golem-like guy that hangs out around here? So I did graphic design, yeah. Oh man, I love the way this all looks. This is so cool. I'm going to spend as much time in Drustvar as possible for the record while we're leveling up. With the level boost, we might be able to spend 90% of our time here, to be fair. Do I have a portfolio? Yes, I do. Let me just pop that in the chat for you. It's there. That should take you to the right place. It's not been updated in a little while. I've got a few projects in the works, but due to the COVID outbreak and things, it's been a bit quiet. I've got a commission that's just come in for my buddy's dad's business. But aside from that, it's a little. I don't really do much up front, so North Pass Caverns.
This land is cursed.
So I trade under Entity Graphic Design for that, but yeah, that should be my portfolio. That's what I send to clients when I work. So continue looking for the children. So it's missing children I'm looking for. It appears to have been emptied by the trance. Okay. Cool. Rindlewoe. What is... Oh, that's it. It's dead. Yeah, it is one of those golem thing. Golem, words. Okay, so... That portfolio is a portfolio I've had since I was in college, by the way, so there's some very old projects. If you go really far down, I would recommend looking at the more recent ones. I only put the best on there, not everything I do. Some of those are concept briefs when I've just had no work in and I've been really bored and I've had an idea. Ah, thank you. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. I'm quite proud of my work. I used to do it as a full-time job, and then unfortunately circumstances meant I was bullied out of the profession in terms of when I was younger I struggled with my mental health. I had a really, really difficult breakup when I was younger, and it messed with my mental health to a point where I wasn't in a good place, right? Anyway, so long story short, I ended up losing my job due to just being alienated from the people I was working with, and they thought I was using it as an excuse. So I had to leave, and then I just never managed to find another job in the industry. And it's a hard industry, which is why I do it freelance now, because there's no way I could do it professionally, because you apply and you apply and you apply, and I didn't go to university. I did A levels, and then I went to an apprentice, so I became an apprentice designer and studied under an apprenticeship. Hey, how's it going, Lord Arbiter? How are you doing tonight? But yeah, so in terms of graphic design, I'm very proud of what I have accomplished, given that I've had a very difficult time in that career field. So, good, you doing good, man? Good. Thanks for stopping by. Let's have a look. So what we got to do? Got to kill some trogs. About the portfolio, you can still do that as a full-time job. You're young. Oh yeah, yeah. Definitely. I'm more than open to that. I just need to
Too far away.
reassess, especially because I've I mean, I'm 26, so I've got a long time ahead of me, realistically speaking. I'm not tied into a career by any stretch of the imagination. What I am thinking, however, is that at the moment, for my 2 kids, I'm just maintaining the job that I have because I need to have an income for my daughters. Because one of them's 3 years old, the other is, well, she's 9 months old today, actually. So my youngest, Beatrice, she's called. My youngest is called Beatrice, and she turned 9 months old today. Esther is 3. So I really maintain jobs that aren't graphic design jobs. If I didn't have a family to think about, I wouldn't bother working.
I do not have a target.
I just plug graphic design. But because I have a family, I need to have an income to provide for them. Because I've got to think. I think less about what I want as a career and more about what I need to do as a father. And it's about priorities. I could very easily justify quitting my job and focusing entirely on streaming and being a designer, but it's not going to get me anywhere with my family. It would be quite selfish of me to do that. But definitely it's an area of focus I need to look into. Yeah, I mean, I've got 3 projects on at the minute. One of my friends wants a tattoo doing, which I'm going to do pro bono because I'm doing it as a birthday gift for him. Alternatively, I've got my friend whose dad is looking for. So I've got a commission for I do DDP yoga, and my yoga instructor needs some branding doing. I've got that in the pipeline. And my friend Curtis, his dad owns a bakery, and it's a struggling business.
I require a target.
And I'm doing work for them. And yeah, on that, focusing on your hobbies, now's a great time. Like, one thing I'm thankful for lockdown is that I'm not a very confident person naturally. I'm quite nervous in real life. But what it's done for me is I decided to bite the bullet. I've always wanted to make content for the internet because I can talk. It goes to say I never shut up. So maybe that's an anxiety thing, but me making content like streaming and the fact I've been playing World of Warcraft for so long, and the fact that I've been and it's with regards to that, I've been playing World of Warcraft so long. And the fact that I'd returned to a guild that I joined in Burning Crusade, so Blackland Skirmishers, the guild that you've come and found me from. I joined that guild in 2008. So the fact I've made my return to the server that kind of got me into the game, it's been a great time for me to develop my hobbies. Oh, and also, Lord Arbiter, have you been streaming anymore, man? Just how's streaming going for you? I want to know how it's been going for you, dude. But yeah, I'm thankful for the time I've had to really reassess what I want to do. Like, I want to stream, I want to create content for YouTube and Twitch. I want to graphic design, you know.
I need to target something
It's
first.
pushed me to do that.
Ahoy! Yar! Do I sound like a pirate?
Let's have a look here. So, sorry about that. I had to just reply to a message real quick. Because I'm on my day job where I work in pensions, they're just contacting me just about obviously working conditions, making sure we're all set for tomorrow. How much doomsday? I need to work on some of my mech skills. Okay, cool. No worries, man. So Jonathan, press to be saved. So we've got to save some kids. And okay, all right, cool. But where are they? That's the question. I don't remember doing these quests, to be honest.
Ahoy!
Gotta save some
I
kids.
like tutorials. Daddy says I need my sea legs, but I already got 2 legs.
Oh yeah, HTML, CSS. Oh, of course. I mean, that's something that I'm kind of teaching myself. It's not something that I... with me, I'm a lot more... at the moment, it's more branding and visualization, so it's all the logos and stuff like that, but I definitely want to look into doing a bit more sort of HTML and web design, because I did do web design as
Which
part of
side is
my
starboard
A-levels,
again?
but I just have neglected that as professionally. Mainly because I've been a bit intimidated by it, I think. It's definitely something I'm going to work on, because if I can build websites, that opens a whole new window of opportunity. I mean, what I used to do where I used to work is I used to be, my hair is getting caught in this, just, hang on a sec, the only problem with having long hair. But it's weird. Because most of what I do is branding, but I definitely have the ability to expand that skill set. I just need to focus on different areas. And I think it will create more opportunities. I think you're completely right. I really do. That Kraken rum is so nice. Kraken rum and Diet Coke. Because you got that... The Diet Coke isn't sweet enough to ruin the flavour of the Kraken rum, so you get that kind of caramelized sugar / molasses flavour, and it's so good. Oh, there are... Oh, the kids up there. Check out Code Academy. I'm sure that's going to teach you basics. Oh, cool, thank you. I'll check that out, definitely. Yeah. That's great. I'll have a look at that, because I know bits. Because I had to build, I used to, it was Dreamweaver and WordPress I used. So I know bits and bats here and there, but I think I could definitely refine that into a tradable skill if I worked hard enough.
I am out of range.
Yarr! Do I sound like a pirate?
Like, I know little bits, so it's not like I'm going into it with no knowledge at all, but I need more knowledge to make that a tradable skill. And I think Code Academy, yeah, thank you. That'd be a really great place for me to start. Thank you very much for telling me about that. I'll add it to my list, because when I'm on my lunch break tomorrow, because I'm working from home tomorrow for my day job, I work for, you've probably heard of them, they're called Aviva, pensions company.
Daddy says I need my sea
I basically
legs,
work for
but
them
I've
helping
already got 2
financial
legs.
advisors, stuff like that. Ain't so bad working from home, because I can do my job from home, so I can literally just say, well, I ain't going to go into work until I absolutely have to. Sorry, guys.
I do not have
Oh,
a
the WoW
target.
sound. Hang on a second. I can't type. Alright, okay, let's have a second. Yeah, so, 1 second. Desktop audio. Headset. Okay, so my headset volume could be a little higher, probably. Thank you for informing me of that. I'm going to try and improve that, so turn that down a little. Maybe that should be a little better. We'll see. It's hard for me. I don't really get much feedback other than the audio levels dancing around on my screen over here. That sounds better. Cool. Great. It's just a case of making sure that the audio levels from my desktop audio
I
aren't
require
drowning
a target.
out what I'm saying.
I
so
need to target something first.
desktop audio, let's just reduce that a little further. And then if I check my voice, okay, so my voice looks okay. Desktop audio, yeah, so that should be okay. But yeah, there we go. Okay, so people in the guild are going to wonder what the hell we're talking about, but that's fine. I've been in this guild for a long time. I can at least explain to the guys who run it what I'm doing. They know I stream anyway nowadays. I just can't wait till I'm max level and I can start streaming, going through the normals, heroics, mythics, and then raiding. Sure, I'm behind the curve on that, but I've been away for a while. And I've come back to the guild I like, come back to the server I like, come back to the class I mained all the way through until... From the beginning all the way through to what? Warlords? So I'm going to have a lot of fun. So you get shield up. See, with leveling, I kind of am a lot more chiller. When I'm in dungeons, I'm actually much more interactive with my spec. Ancient potsherds. Okay. I can't even speak today. What's wrong with me? Super, but in-game audio and mic just loud enough to be good. Okay, yeah. Well, for me, it's about tweaking because I've watched because I upload all my streams to YouTube afterwards, and I've watched it back and thought my audio's a little low in terms of my speaker sometimes, and sometimes it's that's too low. So it's finding the right ground, and you know, while I'm relatively new to this and I'm really enjoying streaming, it's been really fun. I get to meet loads of new interesting people and speak to people. And I get to like spend time with people that I wouldn't normally speak to or wouldn't normally run into. And I also get to, it's like playing games with people without physically having to play the game with them. On top of that as well, it's like, for example, there's somebody from my guild who's watching. And that's really cool. That's really cool to me because that means that not only am I a name that appears on the screen, it's like there's a face and a personality to that name. So now I'll just be that smart ass goth guy who streams on the internet as well, but ironically plays a paladin with the Satan flag behind him. Well, unironically plays a paladin. But then that's because I love the way Paladin plays, it just feels good. Oh, you thought that I was a 40-plus-year-old person before you saw me? Oh, okay. Ah, well, a lot of the time, I give off that vibe.
I require
Everyone who knows me personally says he's an old soul. Like, you know, that's just how I am. I mean, probably because I'm a father of 2 as well. You know, I'm a parent. Maybe that's probably what that is. I work in pensions. I've got 2 kids. Like, just based on guild chat. No, of course. Yeah, definitely. I'd say impressions are when you can attach a name and a personality to a face. Like, a lot of people go, "Oh, hang on a second. So that's not the." So it's like what I mean. It's like people see me in guild chat, a 40-plus-year-old person who probably doesn't do much. It's like, realistically, it's like I'm actually a young parent, and my nickname in real life, honestly, I've garnered the name Goth Dad because, well, look at me. And then on top of that, I thought my bridge piercing had fallen out then on my camera, but it's not. I'm very blissfully unaware at the best of times. no, I've been I mean, I've been a guildie since the very beginning, and I was very young when I started playing WoW. And you know, this is what I mean. Based on guild chat, like a lot of people, you get an impression of what you think somebody is, or well, I say what, but more like who. And then I find that when you interact with people, it's much more interesting, and especially when you get to see a bit of that personality. So you get to see. Sorry, I'm just messing with my hair. I apologise. But like, no, it's like in real life, I come across as a bit of a. It's funny because my partner says I act like an old man all the time. So, just because I'm grumpy. But it's really nice to have that, because that means that I find that the people I'm playing this game with, there's another level to that communication. So that the people who watch me, who happen to play with me in guild, will have a face to that name, and they'll have a voice to that name. They have a personality to that name. And for me, the mature, yeah. Doesn't mean I don't laugh at poo jokes, but still. Yeah, mature. That's a really good way of looking at it, actually. I appreciate that. It's more of a, you know, as a 26-year-old, I've seen a lot already, so that does age you mentally, I think. Crag the Stone Shaker and free Nigel Rifthold. Yeah, thank you. I do appreciate that. I appreciate the comment, because you know, I'm not what a lot of people expect, and I don't really have an online persona. What you see on here is what you get. This is what I'm like. And that's why I wanted to start a Twitch, because I thought, well, I play this game a lot, and I'm not well known on this game. I'm no Asmongold, I'm no Taliesin, I'm no Pyromancer, I'm no Preach. But what I am is an honest player, and for me, this will document my enjoyment of this game, and the people I interact with throughout this game and through Twitch will be documented by these. For me, this is like recording memories as much as it is doing something fun. Look, I know that they've got to do what they can with the rigging in this game, but just just how stone-faced this guy is in blank expression tied to this log. My God, Jesus Christ. That tickled me. I'm a simple man. I like to play tanks on Warcraft. I like my kids. So, basically, the things I like in life: streaming, World of Warcraft, my children, and rum. Oh, and also death metal, but you know.
You mind your business, and I'll mind mine. Even rotten crops regrow.
And graphic design. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I would say with that, I picked it more as because it's a profession. I also like tattoos, if that's not evident with the hole and the, you know, you can't really see these, but I do have the side of my head. There's a Satan tattoo here, but and the other side too, but it's overgrown because I've not shaved my head in quarantine. I keep the top long and the back long, so you can kind of see against this, but not a lot of people knew what my online persona is. The hand tattoos. Oh yeah, so the Buddha and a Yaksha, the Oni mask like a Yaksha, and then I've got a Ouija board planchette here. I move my beard. And on the side of my head, you can't really see it, but that one there's a Leviathan cross, and this side is Baphomet. Again, you can't really see it because of my hair, because I need to shave it, but still. Yeah, I've got full sleeves on my arms and stuff, so a bit of a tattoo enthusiast. So I'm not your typical image of a parent. A, because covered in tattoos. B, a lot of piercings. C, goth. But you know, I'm very interesting to come along when it comes to picking up kids from nursery. They go, it's like, yeah, I'm here for my daughter. You know, the one who's dressed in pink. Because, you know, I'm here. I'm all for defying stereotypes. It's like me and my fiance. Yeah, we're alternative. You know, we're different. So, meet Thomas Staunton at Carver's Harbour. Yeah, who's this guy? Who's this? Honestly, it's so funny. I rock up to pick up my daughter from nursery. Obviously, I've got... You can't really see it on this cam, but I've got like long black hair down to here. The sides of my head shaved. I've literally got the devil tattooed on my head. Covered in tattoos. Turn up in a leather jacket. Big boots. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here to pick Esther up. And they're just like... It's like, no, I'm a parent. Surprisingly, they have been more acceptable, but people have still got this old, antiquated idea in the head that I am not the typical image of a parent, and I'm okay with that, because I will break that stereotype. Just because of the way I look and the way I act, I'm not a bad parent. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Ozzy Osbourne's had kids, and then they turned out fine. Except for Kelly. But it's you know, the point I'm making there is that I'm very much about defying stereotypes as well in real life. Because my image and the personality, it's like, especially with like piercings and stuff, it's like people will say, it's like, you can't really see because I've got my cans on here, but I've got stretched ears as well. It's like people will judge you based on how you look, regardless of whether you think they do or not. Like, oh, it's like it's kind of like how body language is probably about 80% of all communication. If somebody thinks that your look is intimidating or is wrong in some way, they're not going to like it. Oh, I missed a node there. What am I doing? Disaster. But no, I pride myself on defying expectations.
Don't get many travellers here. You mind your business.
I'm glad that tattoos
and
have
I'll
been
mind
more
mine.
acceptable, because
Mainlander, eh?
I mean,
Blight.
me and my brother are covered, and my brother, I mean, he's got a few more than me. He's got some face tattoos. Now I'm gonna get one here, and maybe one up here, and I'm thinking about getting some on these bits. But my brother's got like quite visible face tattoos. My little brother. And I was worried that when he got those, even as somebody who has a lot of visible tattoos, that he would face stigma. And I'm glad that he hasn't, as much as I expected. I mean, there are some people, like me, I get on a bus and I get dirty looks, but, you know, I'm fine with that. It's like, yeah, keep looking, take a picture, it lasts longer. When people stare at me long enough, I go, how about you just follow me on Insta instead? I've got 1,000 followers over there, join them. Yeah, less of a problem. Exactly, except it's like my family... I do live in a major city, but my family, for example, live quite rural in Scotland. So not my mum and dad, but like my extended family. So when I go to see them in Ayrshire, I walk into the village pub and people are like, "Who's this guy? Is this guy a criminal?" I'm like, "No, I just want some beer." See. As I say, and what I do with my streams is I much enjoy. A lot of people have goals on their streams of I'm gonna do this many levels and this much content. I'm much more in it for the chat. So, Spellbound Beasts, we need to kill some of these. The way I look at it, I've spent my entire life defying people's expectations. I don't mind doing it for a bit longer. So the best thing is, like, obviously, as a parent, I have friends who are also parents, who are very much like me, so alternative people with families. And it's really funny because we all take our kids out, obviously not in quarantine because Corona's kind of ruined that.
I do not have a target.
But excuse me. You know, we'll take our kids out together, and they'll be like, "Wait, these guys have children? These guys can breed?" I'm like, "Yeah." Tattoos don't make you infertile, funny enough. In fact, if you ask me, tattoos increase your chances of breeding. But there you go. That's a little joke. Let's have a look here. I mean, each to their own, but it's like, you know, it's one of those things where I find it interesting. I find again, one of my other topics, because I did graphic design at sixth form, but I also studied psychology. So stigma and like what is perceived as judgment and like how people divide themselves into social groups, I find fascinating as a topic. So like societal psychology, if you like. So looking at the major, like what happens, like how people divide themselves into groups, and how people determine who's not part of the group or who's not part of the established norm, or how the established norm even comes about, I find fascinating. And I am I'm very much in favour of challenging convention. That's kind of my thing. I'm all for, I'm not saying I'm like an unorthodox parent or anything. Because I'm very orthodox in certain ways in terms of the way I'm quite old-fashioned in some ways, but not in others. Like, you know, it's like I've got nothing, I'm one of those people, I've got nothing to hide in terms of, like, I am very much what you see is what you get, heart on my sleeve type. And that's what makes me probably quite good for making videos and things. I know it sounds like a weird thing to say, but honestly, it's like a weird way it ties in. Like, I can make videos because I'm just me. I don't know how to be anything else other than myself, so... And I've always been along the lines of, you know, what other people think about you is none of your business anyway. So, your detractors and your critics, well, that's their problem, you know? I've always said the same thing, though, about that. Like, you know, it's important to remember that a lot of people don't like what they don't understand. What if you say something wrong because bans happen? What if you say something wrong because bans happen quickly on Twitch? Well, I mean, I'm lucky in terms of I don't think I've got any opinions that are too controversial. I don't see myself getting in trouble on Twitch very easily. The most I do is the most I've done is swear. That's about it. I'm gonna be on one of those top 10 Twitch streamers who said a swear word list, aren't I? But it's like, you know, I'm very much of the belief that I'm very inoffensive in terms of what I believe. I mean, offensive's subjective anyway.
And all mine.
The way I see it, like, it's very hard to determine what's offensive and what isn't. And the reason I say that is because I might be offended by something that's totally inoffensive, or vice versa. I might have an opinion that I see as inoffensive that somebody else might find very offensive. I don't know that. I don't know what somebody else finds offensive until I say something and someone goes, "Hey man, that's not okay," and then I'm like, "Oh, okay, what, you know." Bans on Twitch, I don't know. I don't see how or why I would say anything that would be
Look always to the sea.
warranting a ban. I don't think that I have anything that controversial to say that would warrant that. Can't control my temper with bad teams. To be fair, if you want to kid yourself that people don't swear, then like, I got bad news for anybody who's ever been in a pre-game lobby on Halo 3.
Don't get many travelers here.
It sounds silly, but
Must get closer.
one thing that I consider is, it's like, you know, a lot of the people who get offended by bad language wouldn't last 5 minutes in a lobby back in Halo 3. I'm doing it wrong, hang on.
Too far away.
Is this the one I need? Fruit? Are you serious? He's serious, isn't he? Oh, okay. I don't... the good old days where everyone in the lobby slept with my... Basically, Halo 3 lobbies in a nutshell. You are gay and everyone slept with your mother. That's basically it. There's nothing wrong with sexuality, but back then you would basically, if someone hadn't insulted your sexuality or questioned it and then said they slept with your mother, then you were doing something wrong. Cooking herbs, not ritual herbs. Can you tell it? We'll try bones then. Oh, I've heard a lot worse. I mean, I'm not going to repeat some of the things I've heard. You put bones, perfect. It's like, I mean, some of the stuff, if I were to repeat it, would get me banned. So, bones. Oh yeah, you get a lot on WoW too, yeah. WoW's great. You get some really creative insults on WoW. Again, I won't repeat them for the sake of not having my account get banned before I've even got the chance to get more than 10 consecutive viewers like on one stream. But it's like, no, you get some really creative insults on WoW. You get some really creative I'm all for creative insults. Except when they're very, 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 very offensive. I don't like that. Like, there's a line. With insults, there's definitely a line that you shouldn't cross. Like, we're talking racism, sexism, homophobia. You shouldn't do that. Don't do that. Like, that's just not cool. Like, prejudice is not cool.
Good day to ya.
It's not even edgy. You know what I mean?
Wind in your sails.
Just a second, I'm just going to cut this part for YouTube.